I'm going to answer what's the one thing that helped you to knock out depression. The answer might not be what you expect. Hi, I'm Matthew Williams, founder of Knockout Depression. We provide mental health education and support. Now, this is a question that I've been asked many times, both based on my own lived experience of having been through depression and the work I've done with many people over the years, supporting people with mental health problems. And this is the answer. You ready? Nothing there. That's right. And that's because there isn't one single thing that can be relied on to knock out depression. If only it were that simple. I would love to be able to tell you that if you do this, you'll feel better tomorrow. If you do this, guaranteed you will get through depression. But I can't say that to you, because the truth is, depression is a very tough opponent. And if you're going through it or have been through it, then you won't need me to tell you that. But I want to use an example from boxing, because that's what I do as part of Knockout Depression. Now, in boxing, the thing that most people tune in to watch a big fight for is the one-punch knockout, the big shot, the one that ends a fight within the blink of an eye. And fighters that can deliver one-punch knockouts, fighters that are known for their big punching, for their power, tend to be the ones that get the most attention. So Mike Tyson being an obvious example, in more recent years, Anthony Joshua. They're the ones that tend to make the money and get people wanting to watch them. People generally don't tune in hoping for a 12-round tactical affair. But the fact is, in boxing, where we have two relatively evenly matched fighters, you very rarely see a one-punch knockout. In amateur boxing, you rarely see knockdowns. And fighters will always say that if you go looking for the knockout, then it doesn't come. In fact, the punch that's most likely to win you a fight is not the big hook or the big right hand. It's actually the jab. And the jab isn't a spectacular shot. Again, you're not going to have people looking for YouTube top 10 greatest jabs of all time. I'm sure there's a video out there on that. But it won't have as many views as the greatest one-punch knockouts. And of course, we'd all like to be able to go into a fight with one-punch power, but the reality is it's usually not the case. And it's similar when we're fighting against depression. If depression is our opponent, it's a very tough opponent, and it's unlikely that we'll land a one-punch knockout that changes everything in a moment. When people are asking about that one thing that made a difference, they might be thinking about, for instance, a tablet that you took, an antidepressant, or that you started going out for walks, or it may be that they're thinking that you had a sudden realization and that changed everything. And in my experience, and the experience of the many people that I've worked with, it's not like that. And again, it is more like a fight. So in the same way that we win most fights with a jab, similar with depression, that we gradually chip away at it with the consistent, again, not the spectacular punch, not the big punch, the consistent small things that we do that add up and help to lessen depression's grip on us over time. Now, a good illustration of this comes from Muhammad Ali, who most people know was one of the best boxers that ever lived. In my opinion, the greatest heavyweight that did ever live. And one of the things he said, Ali wasn't a big puncher. He wasn't known as being a big puncher. But as he said it, if you keep doing this, you're soon going to get dizzy. Okay, so that consistent lighter punches can accumulate to being just as effective as that single shot. Now, one of the things about depression that's so awful about it is that it's an opponent that does its very best to rob you of the things that you need to beat it. Hope, motivation, energy, self-confidence. It really can strip us of those things. And so one of the things that we need to be conscious of is that it can be very hard to continue to consistently apply those small things because we're not seeing that big immediate change. So for instance, going out for a walk, no, it won't necessarily make you feel right. You might feel a little better in the moment. I remember I used to think, well, yeah, it's all right me going for a walk, but I'll come home and I'll still feel terrible. I'll still feel the way I'm feeling currently. But it's that accumulation over time. And yes, things might not help lift your mood immediately, but by consistently doing those little things, it does help loosen depression's grip. Eventually, those things chip away until depression crumbles. But it can be very hard for us to maintain that belief when we're in the midst of depression, which is constantly trying to tell us that there's no point, that we won't get better. And this is where a supportive community can be very, very helpful to us, because it can help us to endure when things are tough, when we don't believe in ourselves. And I liken it to the corner in boxing, where you have a team in the corner that are there to patch up your cuts and give you advice and guidance in between rounds. And they help us to recover from the round before and to go out ready for the next round to begin. And it's a similar principle in terms of having a supportive community around us, of people who understand it, who get it, who aren't going to judge us, but can share examples from their own experience potentially of what has been able to help them. Because this is another thing about depression, is that there isn't a one size fits all, and what works for one person won't necessarily work for another. And at Knockout Depression, we really emphasise this point that, using the boxing analogy, we're not looking for single punches, it's about the combinations. It's about finding a combination of things that will work for you. Not in a one-punch knockout kind of way, but that will allow you to gradually chip away and break depression down until you feel like you again. And we have an online membership community called Out of the Blue Corner, which has been set up to offer that support. I'll put the link in the comments. If that's something that you'd like to check out, please do click the link below and let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything that you need to know about that before making the decision to join. If you're enjoying this video and our content and our unique take on depression, mental health using boxing, then please do click subscribe and hit like. Those things really do help us to reach more and more people. Thank you for watching, and I'd love to hear from you about your own experiences in terms of what's worked for you. What have been those jabs, if you like, those small things that have gradually helped you to chip away at depression? What combination has worked for you? Thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll see you again soon, and until then, keep punching. Exciting. No. You think happy thoughts would...